Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Oskar Blues Brewery, and they're headquartered in Longmont, Colorado, and this is their Barrel-Aged 10 FIDY, and this is the 2025 vintage. So this is an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. It comes in at 12.5% alcohol by volume, 75 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just under 6 weeks old. So recently here in the Buffalo, New York area, a couple old school favorite beers from Oskar Blues showed up for the first time in many years. This along with their Death by Coconut. Now, I've already reviewed the Death by Coconut, and spoilers if you haven't watched that review already, that was not the same beer that I remember. Now, maybe I got a off can, or maybe it was from a bad batch, but it looked like brown muddy water. The coconut was very subtle and almost non-existent. It was a solid beer. I gave it a 3.65 out of 5, but it was a far cry from what I remember that beer being back, 8 to 10 years ago. So that was unfortunate. However, full disclosure, that's not going to be the same for this beer right here. At least I think so, because the place that I picked this one up from, Brewed and Bottled, Lewiston, New York. Shout out to Chris over there. Harry, rein it in. He got his hands on both beers. That's where I picked up both the beers from. And when I was there last time, not only did I pick up a can to take home to review right now, but also I cracked one open there and shared it with a couple other friends of mine. I got about 4 ounces of it, and it was delicious. However, it was right out of the cooler, so it was pretty cold. And I'm thinking this beer, which is out of my darker beer fridge at 54 degrees Fahrenheit, should be a little bit better, but we'll see. But I just remember drinking this one at his shop and going, wow, this is just as good as I remember it being. Now, I will say, as I pour this, I'm one of those guys that I think the base 10 FIDY is better than the barrel-aged versions. I believe the same for Narwhal from Sierra Nevada. I like the Narwhal base better than the barrel-aged version. Not to say that these aren't good, because they are, but I like the barrel-aged version, or I like the non-barrel-aged version of both 10 FIDY and Narwhal a little bit better than their barrel-aged counterparts. However, when I had this one recently, man, was it good, and boy, does it look awesome pouring out. So, yeah, I mean, that looks like a barrel-aged beer. Oh, hang on, is this head going to go crazy? I'm pouring it aggressive, because usually with a 12.5% barrel-aged beer of really any kind, usually don't get a great head. This beer looks fucking awesome in the glass. Like, ladies and gentlemen, if someone handed me that beer, as far as a barrel-aged beer goes, I'd be like, yes, sirree, sign me up. That looks absolutely outstanding. Like, I just want to sit here and look at how glorious this beer looks. So it's pitch black, look like motor oil pouring out, has about 2.5 to 3 fingers of this straight up mocha colored head. You could even say like a deeper, darker brown. Some, medium-sized bubbles with smaller bubbles. Looks super creamy, but has, not like perfectly, it doesn't look like a nitro head or something, but it definitely has some bigger bubbles, but man, it looks awesome. How about alcohol legs? Is there anything on the side here? If this ever comes down, yeah, there's definitely legs. You won't see them, but there's definitely alcohol legs there. So just trust. Just trust in Yusuf. Anyway, let's get a nose. So if I remember, in the top right-hand corner of the video, I'll post a link to the other time I reviewed this beer, which I think was in early 2020. So it's been like a little over 5.5 years. I remember getting something in that beer, and I'm not going to bullshit you and be like, I just remembered off the top of my head from a beer review 5.5 years ago. But I looked on Untappd, and I said toasted marshmallow. And let me tell you, it smells like toasted marshmallow. There are no adjuncts. It's just base 10 FIDY, barrel-aged. It's toasted marshmallow. It's vanilla, probably from the oak. Big spirit presence, bourbon is here, boozy kind of nose, but then rich roasted, almost charred malt. That's how 10 FIDY is for me. It's they say Imperial Stout. It's almost like a Russian Imperial Stout range where it's like very roasty and toasty, bittering like cocoa powder. Baker's chocolate. Oh man, that smells awesome. Big. Also just like dark chocolate, like a 40-50% cacao bar, medium roasted coffee. Your caramelized sugars, caramel, toffee, molasses, things in that nature. Dare I say even a little bit of, I don't say this often, but marzipan. It also has like a nuttiness. Yeah, like an almond kind of like walnut. Oh, dude, this smells. I mean, the bourbon's here. To me, the bourbon's producing more, probably accentuating that like confectionery kind of caramelized sugar goodness, but it's also producing like a peppery kind of bourbon note, sweeter, cherry. I'm stoked. Because this is as good as I remember it being over 5.5 years ago. The can that I drank probably in the last 3 weeks. It is awesome. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. This is fucking awesome. It's boozy. It's bitter. This is fucking real bitter. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, this is better than the 4 ounces I had. Because A, it's not ice cold. I mean, there is some condensation on my glass again. It's still warm around as I'm drinking this one. But, you know, this is probably like high 50s now as far as Fahrenheit, as far as the temperature. Body's not really super thick. It's like lower to medium side of full, so it's not like full body, which is fine. It's a little bit thin for what it is. That's the one, I guess, deterrent so far that I've noticed. The mouthfeel, it's nice. It has a nice carbonation, like approaching moderate carbonation, but it's softer than I thought it was going to be. It's smooth. It has a nice creaminess. That head that is now dissipated. Look at the glass lacing it left. But that head that dissipated, I wish it would have stuck around because it's almost like drinking like a milkshake. Like each time you go back for a sip, it's like so smooth and creamy. The taste, man. It's like you took 10 FIDY and put it into barrels. Novel concept. It's barrel-aged 10 FIDY, but a lot of times that doesn't happen with beers. I'm getting the base 10 FIDY in this, which is why I like this so much right now. Forefront is, again, a ton of that bittering dark chocolate. Like, again, baker's chocolate, unsweetened cocoa powder, things of that nature. It has a big chocolate presence without that, like, sweetness you get. You get that a little bit later, like I get like that 40-50% cacao bar like halfway through the palate, but up front it's just bittering chocolate. It's deeply roasted and almost charred malt. Like almost getting into the burnt level, but doesn't quite reach it. It's very deeply roasted. Like if you don't like deep roasted malt character that has a nice char kind of to it, which could also be coming from the barrel, like stay away from this one. And the bitterness on the back end is crazy. So that caramel, toffee, molasses, marzipan thing, it's here, but it's not, again, it's not as sweet and luscious. This is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout of yesteryear. It doesn't have a crazy amount of sweetness. It's more bittering, dry. And if you don't like those characters, like I didn't say 5 years ago, you probably won't like this one. If you're used to like the crazy pastry stouts nowadays that are, you know, just like drinking a, you know, some kind of like, chocolate bar or candy bar, that's not this beer. This beer is 10 FIDY with an accentuation of the barrel. So again, that caramel, toffee, molasses, marzipan, you get that flavor, but you don't get the sweetness. Medium to full-on roasted coffee is on here. Halfway to 2/3 of the way through the palate, the barrel hits. It has this drying oak tannin kind of feel. The vanilla hits, and it gives me that toasted, like almost charred marshmallow. Because of how deeply roasted and charred this beer is, the marshmallow comes in. It's almost like you're not quite s'mores because there's no graham cracker and it's not a super sweet chocolate, but it definitely gives like a toasted marshmallow vibe. The peppery bourbon, the sweet cherry, that's all here. And then the finish, it is bone dry with a moderate to touch over moderate bitterness. This is dry, this is bitter. Yes, it's sweet up front from all the malt and the fact that it's 12.5%, but boy does it dry out and bitter out on the finish. This leans like 60-40 bitterness and dryness to sweetness, which is a rarity with these beers, at least for me. 12.5%, nice warming in my chest. No shrinking on the palate. I can tell this is a bigger beer because of the barrel aging, because of the thickness of this beer, even though it's a bit thin. Just a flavor profile. You're not getting something like this probably under 10 to 11%. Would I say 12.5? I don't know. If I was doing blind, I have no idea. I just know that this is fucking awesome, and this is actually better than I remember it being. And part of the reason is because of where my palate is. If you've been following the channel over the last couple of years, when it comes to IPAs, I'm more to the West Coast style. I want dry and bitter beers as a whole. It doesn't matter the style. So when you hand me a barrel-aged Imperial Stout that's 12.5%, that is this dry, this bitter, and has still a beautiful flavor profile, you get the barrel, but the base beer still shines through. Like, you've won me over. And I gave this, I think, a 4.4 of the can I had recently sharing it. This is great. This is great. And I was so disappointed in that Death by Coconut. Like, I was like, come on, Oskar Blues. I know Oskar Blues, they're owned by the Monster Brewing Company, and I know a couple of you who've commented on the Death by Coconut, said you won't buy their beer anymore, or you think they fell off, and I get it. I don't drink Oskar Blues stuff that much anymore because I just don't see it as much here. But I'm always honest with my reviews, and I'm telling you right now, this is just as good, if not better, than I remember it. And it could be just a personal thing, but man, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, this is great. I don't know if they brewed this at the North Carolina facility, but it does say brewed and canned by Oskar Blues, Longmont, Colorado. So have to imagine this was at the Longmont facility. One more sip, I'm locking a rating. For like a shelfy barrel-aged beer that like when it shows up, it's just, you can find it at your local beer store. This is one of the better ones out there. It's fucking delicious. I'm going to give Barrel-Aged 10 FIDY, the 2025 release, 4.75 out of 5. Yeah, it's awesome. I am so surprised at how much I enjoy this one. As I'm sitting here talking to you guys, it's just, there's this lingering, dry, bitter, almost hop character. Because, 10 FIDY has a big hop character. There's like this floral resiny thing, the back of my throat. It definitely has a little bit like pine, floral, earthy, but it's resinous. It's hop character, in addition to that dry and bitter, just generic kind of feeling. Price point. I don't remember what I paid for this. I want to say it was like $5 to $6 a can. I want to say 4-packs of this are like around $20 a 4-pack. So $5 for a 12 fluid ounce can of a 12.5% barrel-aged Imperial Stout. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine. If I paid $6 for that can, I'm also cool. I think it was like $5.50, so that's fine. Availability, it's Oskar Blues. I really don't know here in Buffalo. Like I said, we get most of their year-round, or some of their year-round stuff. Like you see the Dale's Pale Ale. You'll see like the variety pack. They have a Dale's Pale Ale. But they're rotating and seasonal and specialty releases, very hit or miss. I haven't seen Barrel-Aged 10 FIDY in at least a couple years, and Death by Coconut in like 3 or 4 years. So I'm just happy these both showed up. I just wish Death by Coconut. Maybe I got an off can. Maybe I need to revisit that. Maybe I'll pick up a can at some point, not review it, and then if it's good, maybe buy another can and re-review it. I have no idea. But I will say, seek this one out. If you've never had it before and you like what I talked about in this review, keep in mind, it's a big beer. It's dry, it's bitter. It has a hop character to it. The base beer shines through. The barrel aging is here for sure, but it's not canceling out all of the goodness you get from the base beer. And that's kind of where I am with my palate. So if that's where you are with your palate, pick a can of this up if you can buy a single. I can't advocate an entire 4-pack for $20, but a single, and then go from there. So anyway, if you've had this one before, whether it's a prior vintage or the 2025, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. I think it's absolutely fucking delicious. I'm going to go drink the rest of this and enjoy every second. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one. Cheers.